Welcome back to the talk. I am here with Rachel Brown Kirkland, the editor of Dalton Living Magazine. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Connie. Thanks for having me
Thanks
today.
for coming on. I love to talk about the magazine. Dalton Living Magazine, to me, is just a big part of our community. You constantly have stories in that talk about things that are coming up and things that happen. It's a nice combination and a good way to see your friends and family and neighbors.
Well, thank you so much. We love Dalton Living, and we have some wonderful contributors, including you. So.
Thank you. And I love writing for it. And I'm not just being all flowery. I really do love writing for it. And it gives me a chance to get to know people. Like this month, you had me write a story about, or for this edition, a story about people and their holiday cooking traditions.
Yes.
So I was able to talk to 3 people from our community, 2 educators, Jeffrey Todd Adair, who is actually retired, but a lot of people know him from community theater. He talks about his mothers and grandmothers. What was it? It's dressing, cornbread dressing.
Mm-hmm.
And Samantha Cornwell, an elementary school teacher, talks about a dessert. And then Dana Sapp, a local hairstylist, my own, who talked about a Cuban tradition they have.
Yes, and that goes with our theme, which is holiday cooking. So lots of great recipes in here. I can't wait to try the ones you wrote about. And then we also have a peanut butter chocolate chip recipe from our eclectic kitchen columnist.
From Misty Watson.
Yes.
I am going to try that because, you know, there are so many recipes for chocolate chip cookies, but when you find that good one, and hers has peanut butter.
Peanut butter, and she says it helps it not spread out too much on the pan. So they hold their shape.
Sounds good to me. I'm going to be trying some of that out. So what else do you have in this edition?
Okay, so we have several things in here related to the holidays. You wrote about parades and
Yes.
talked to some of the parade directors, I believe, and people involved in it. We also have a gift guide that some of our local merchants have told us about different things that might be a good gift. And then we highlighted Sharing is Caring, which is just a wonderful community-wide organization to help families in need at Christmas time.
So who's behind that Sharing is Caring? I haven't got to that article yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to. Is it a group called Sharing is Caring, or is that?
So great question. So it's actually just a partnership of a bunch of community organizations, Salvation Army, Whitfield County Schools, Dalton Public Schools, and then a whole lot of the local churches and other community organizations are involved. And it's just to help families be able to shop at like a pop-up Christmas store.
Very good.
Yes.
I love that. So if people can read the article and find out if they're in need or they know a family of need, and that's a good resource for them.
Absolutely.
So, Rachel, there's also an article about El Salvador with Cindy Mendoza.
Yes, yes. She is an El Salvador native who wrote about how holidays are celebrated in her home country, and not just holidays during the winter time too, but throughout the year.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I love how you involve so many areas of our community because we are so diverse, and that's one thing that's so beautiful about Dalton, in my opinion.
I agree.
Okay, now here's an article I just read this morning about axe throwing in Chatsworth.
Yes.
That one was pretty cool because a lot of people are axe throwing now.
That was a really fun article to do. So the owners, Dennis and Deb Warren, had opened their venue in Chatsworth. It's been open about a year now, and it's really family friendly. They have lots of games for kids as well, like the younger kids who can't quite do the axe throwing yet.
Yeah, and that's important. We took my kids and niece, nephew, and some of their friends out axe throwing several times, I think, through the summer, and I was so nervous because Brody, at that time he would have been 12, would not stay in his seat. I had to embarrass him a few times. He's like, "Just sit down," because he wanted to go retrieve the axes afterward. But I was just so afraid someone was going to be, and I was like, sit down until they're finished. But I read that this family has a way to kind of prevent that.
They do. So they're very safety conscious. They have several rules to keep everyone safe, but they also have like an area for the little kids to be in as well, but in sight of their parents or caregivers.
They have like other little things to do, like air hockey and things like that. Is that correct?
Yes, and read the article and it'll tell you about the games because I'll get them wrong if I try to at least list them.
In my memory, it may not be air hockey, but I think they said that. And this family, I read, their axe throwing goes back to 3 to 5 generations on both sides.
Yes, so their family has a background in forestry and timber, and they include a lot of forestry education in their venue, so you can read about it and even just talk with them about it.
That is so cool. And I also, one thing that I really liked about this article that you wrote was the way these two met. It was kind of romantic, in my opinion. You want to share that, a little bit about that?
So they met when they were children, and there was a fight over who got the biggest piece of candy, as I recall. And they initially didn't like each other, but they did grow up and fall in love.
That's so sweet. And they're both from out of the area. They came to Chatsworth, and this is where they've been for a while. And now they have this really fun axe throwing business in Chatsworth that is going to be adding an addition, possibly by the end of the year, which is archery.
They are looking at that, yes. Yes.
That'd be a lot of fun too. So there are other things like going to Grandma's house with Sherry Patterson, who is a great writer. I enjoy reading her work.
Yes, we're fortunate to have her as one of our regular contributors, and her column is really fun and nostalgic about 1950s Thanksgiving at her grandmother's house.
It is. I love that. I love it. I love old Christmas stories and new Christmas stories. You have an article on Christmas trees that I haven't got to yet, and you also have a calendar of events and where people can go look at lights. So it's just jam-packed with a lot of good holiday stuff. So, Rachel, thank you for talking about the Christmas or the holiday edition of Dalton Living Magazine. I look forward to hearing what's coming up in 2023. But where can we get copies of Dalton Living Magazine?
Okay, great questions. So you can get them at the Daily Citizen News office on Thornton Avenue, Bradley Wellness Center, Oakwood, or one of our many other locations around town.
And online.
And online.
You can see the full edition online. But myself, I love to have a copy, a physical hard copy. It's just more fun. Well, thanks for coming, Rachel.
All right, thank you for having me.
And the rest of you, I'll be right back.